Welcome to Fashion Reverie Talks. I am Cicily Daniels.
I'm Tijana Ibrahimovic.
Fashion Reverie takes you from the front lines of fashion to the front row.
And all of Fashion Reverie Talks segments are based on published content found on fashionreverie.com.
So remember, if you want more information on the segments, go to fashionreverie.com. And if you like this episode, don't forget to like this episode of YouTube and subscribe.
In this episode, we are happy to have fashion designer Shane Ramnarine to talk about his collection. And we also have Fashion Reverie Associate Editor Kristopher Fraser, who will discuss some of his favorite men's fall 2024 campaign. But let's start with fashion news. All of our fashion news segments are based on the fashion news alerts found on fashionreverie.com.
Okay, so let's jump into the current events in fashion. Tijana is going to start us off with Alberta Ferretti's departure from her namesake fashion brand.
So I'm a huge fan of Alberta Ferretti. I love her creations. I love her style, the fabrics, and it fits me well. I'm kind of that shape that is made for Alberta Ferretti fans. So unfortunately, after 43 years, Alberta is stepping down as the creative director of her brand. However, she will maintain her role as the vice president of IFE, and her namesake fashion brand is owned by the same company. So far, no creative director successor has been named to replace her, but we're all anxious to see who will they come up with. And of course, a new creative director always brings in innovative style to the brand. So it's exciting, and let's see what happens. So she did share that she believes that at this point of her career, it is a right and conscious choice to pave the way for a new creative chapter for the brand she founded, and the company will continue to carry her name.
Well, that's fantastic. We wish her success on her next step, and, look forward to see who takes over. In my news that I'm reporting, it is about Ciara and Bebe. R&B singer Ciara has a new job. She and Bebe have teamed up for a new capsule collection, and Ciara is going to serve as the creative director for this collection and the face of the fall 2024 campaign. She seems really excited about this collaboration. The collection includes a range of dresses, denim, sportswear, accessories, and eyewear. And the palettes are including deep jewel tones, rich greens and blues, and definitely I went by just to see what it looked like online. And there's definitely some cute looks, for not the highest price point. So I think that is going to be fun for her fans and fun for BB fans as well. And there is a second drop of this capsule collection that is scheduled in early October. And there will be additional offerings for the holiday season.
Well, from the little preview that we've just seen, it's exciting. It's
cute. It's cute. There's some cute things. I was like, I need a new holiday dress or four,
Yes. So a little bit of a sad news. Actually, it's a big sad news. So Richard Renda, Totally Cool, that we all know from Fashion Week, that would always shout at the beginning of the show, uncross your legs. If you've ever been at any New York fashion show, you must have crossed paths with him. Unfortunately, he died after a 2-year battle with lung cancer. He was well known in the fashion industry. He was a regular at the New York Bridal Week, and sort of a well-known face on the riser with the photographers. So he was the owner of Totally Cool, and an editor and a stylist. And he was 74 years old, and he'll definitely be missed by the community.
That is the end of our fashion news alerts. So if anyone wants to keep up to date with what's going on in fashion, you know where to go, fashionreverie.com. But I am so excited to be introducing a fantastic up-and-coming designer, fashion designer, Shane Ramnarine. And so Shane, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, guys. Glad to be here.
Of course. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good.
Good. I want to jump right in. First, I want to give our viewers a little bit of background. How did you first get involved in fashion?
Good question. I've always been a lover of fashion and always been a creative at heart. And about 7 years ago, I decided to delve into the world of carnival costumes because I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago. So that's a part of our culture. And that allowed me to have a creative outlet to express, my creativity. And then I moved to Miami in 2020, literally a week before the pandemic. And then right as things started to open back up, of course, it's kind of slow. So I said, look, I need to invest in myself and my creative juices. So I decided to go and learn to sew and pattern make. So I did that for a couple of years. And that's essentially how I got started.
That's wonderful. And for any of our viewers that don't know about Carnival, it's a very extraordinary tradition throughout the Caribbean. And the outfits that people wear, I would say they're almost all couture. They're usually individually made, designed with very unique elements. And so that's a really cool foray, I think, that would bring that brings you to fashion. I think that's fantastic. Tell me, what was the inspiration behind your spring 2025 collection?
The inspiration was twofold. First, as I said, I'm from Trinidad in the Caribbean, and I am very much influenced by the Caribbean vibe, the color, the ease of living, and the general style, especially in Trinidad. My company's name is 11 Threads Roma because I've always been in love with everything Italian, and I believe very much in their classic style, their elegance. And, I've been working with some people across there since I got started. So it's a combination, a fusion of both elements, because in Italy, you have the timeless style, sophistication, the silhouette never gets old. So it's a fusion of that versus where I'm from in the Caribbean. So you have vibrant colors, for example, flowy dresses.
So you talked a little bit about this. We noticed that there are some sexy looks. So I guess what is the inspiration, maybe between the tropical and the Caribbean and the Italian that you feel like you're bringing to the collection, and maybe for what kind of buyer are you seeing?
The belief in the brand is, femininity is at the heart of the brand. And, I believe a woman needs to embrace that, so it's sexy, yes, without being overtly sexy. That's what I love about the two influences, because in the Caribbean, everybody, it's quite warm. So everybody, looks to dress very comfortably, but also very chic and, in more modest ways. And in the Italian fashion, it's almost the same, because you have, these sexy outfits without being in your face, right? So I took a lot of inspiration from that, because sexy doesn't necessarily mean showing a lot of skin. A woman has to feel very comfortable in what they're wearing and feel empowered. And to me, that is the heart of the brand.
I love that. I think that that's something that a lot of women can relate to, because they want to feel sexy, but they also want it to come from within versus something, that's always external. So you told me a little bit about where you're from, and do you feel like you're always trying to weave your background into your collections?
I think it's a very important part of the brand voice. I am originally, as I said, from Trinidad, and I will always be, celebrating that. And part of the culture with our carnival, our festivals, and all of this. So, for example, when I showed at Miami Swim Week earlier this year, I was very adamant to use music that reminded me of that. So so it was really a celebration of where I'm from, incorporated into an overall vision of the brand.
I love that. So also there is a swim collection, and which season is that, just for people to look out?
Oh, that will be for summer 2025.
Oh, that's so exciting. Okay. And tell me what is next for you.
Oh, well, right now, this collection is out and I'm working on capsule collections. The brand started off focusing on swimwear because, again, from my roots in designing carnival costumes. Yes. But, my heart really lies in luxury fashion, resort wear, So the idea is to take the brand to new heights. I'm working with developers in Europe, that kind of thing. I'm also, looking at, we have capsule collections coming soon. We have lifestyle, brand. So all of these things.
That's amazing. Shane, I appreciate you so much for taking the time to talk to me. And we will continue to follow your upcoming collections. And hopefully you will come back and talk to us again at Fashion Reverie when you have your next collection coming out.
Absolutely. I would love the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Shane.
Guys.
Of course.
So we put so much emphasis on women's campaigns. However, this season, there are some great fall campaigns. So therefore, we have our associate editor, Kristopher Fraser, with us that will sort of share with us some of his favorites. I'm sorry, we're limiting you only to a few. I'm sure there's more than three, but please share some that are your three best picks.
My top three for this season for the fall menswear campaigns would be New Era, Amiri, and Louis Vuitton.
Aha. Okay. Well, some we are very familiar with. Others are maybe not so well known yet. So, please, why did you pick those three, and why do those three stand out?
New Era has been around for God, longer than either of us have been alive put together, Tijana. And this, they recently brought on Daoui Chow as their creative director, who some of us may know very well from when he had Public School, which, was really hot back in the day. They really had more than a moment when he was with his design partner, Maxwell Osborne, and, they were CFDA Vogue Fashion Fund finalists, and they had collaborations with J. Crew, and they were in a lot of the major department stores like Bloomingdale's and some of the e-commerce sites, like I think they were on Essence. So Daoui's next project right now is breathing some new life into New Era in their hats. And for this season, for the campaign, even though he's there trying to do something new, it was shot in black and white. It was playing a lot on the nostalgia of what made New Era so great in the first place. Like, it had origins in streetwear culture, origins in sportswear culture. And it's like a brand that's also so New York. You go to the Bronx or Brooklyn, you're going to see someone with a New Era cap. And that goes back literally decades and decades and decades. And for this campaign, he also cast his son in it, who looks like he's trying to start modeling now, I guess. And then Amiri is a younger brand. It's only I want to say it's less than 10 years old, but it's Mike Amiri, and the brand's been really popping the last couple of years. They had a big show in LA. They've shown in Paris. They are definitely getting the traction they need to. They've been in a lot of celebrities. Like, they're one of the probably biggest up and coming luxury brands I can think of in terms of menswear right now. And for their campaign, they're men's. Well, they are primarily menswear, but they cast some upcoming actors, Ashton Saunders and Seth Lee, and they also cast K-pop star Sun Woo from The Boys. And you know, K-pop is huge right now, and with Korea being so big for the luxury market too, that was a really smart choice on their part, in my opinion, to cast a K-pop star. And you see a lot of other. That trend's not new. You've seen a lot of major luxury brands doing it over the past couple years, like Louis Vuitton, Tiffany & Co., Gucci. They all hopped on the K-pop star bandwagon. And Louis Vuitton, under the creative directorship of Pharrell, back in their fall 2024 Paris Men's Fashion Week show, they went very Western with their inspiration, a lot of Wild Wild West, a lot of Western elements, and they translated that to their fall 2024 campaign, which I find really interesting how, you know, beyond even just fashion, people are trying to take Western aesthetic and culture so much more global now because it's something that's truly, truly so deeply American. But Ralph Lauren's always had some Western elements in a lot of his collections for, again, decades now. He's another one of those long-standing designers as well. But, you know, earlier this year when you saw Beyonce do Cowboy Carter and her being such a international pop star, like the country genre and the Western aesthetic started to go way beyond the United States. And now you're seeing that translate into fashion with Pharrell in this collection and with this ad campaign that's now global. And everyone's seeing those elements of Americana and Western nature on an international scale, which I don't think we've ever seen Western aesthetic and culture go quite this broad before.
Yeah, interesting. I'm trying to remember this summer in which country that was that a friend of mine made a comment, why is everyone wearing cowboy boots? But I was trying to remember where that was, but it definitely wasn't in the United States. So I guess it does prove your point because that's really rare to see anywhere else.
I was talking to a friend of mine who's a major country music star stylist the other day, and we were talking about cowboy hats, and she's all like, you know, I remember when there was only a couple brands doing cowboy hats for my clients, and she's like, now everyone is trying to either do a cowboy hat collection or start a cowboy hat line, and that was just not a thing you saw even like 5 years ago.
Interesting. Do you think that's just this year or it's going to stick around?
I don't know. I think it's still a little too early to determine. It's very much TBD, but right now it's 100% a trend, and all these brands are definitely hopping on it, and people want that Western Americana aesthetic.
I do think a lot of people are kind of giving a side eye to that, but let's see what happens. So for some of other Kristopher's picks, please go to fashionreverie.com and check out the rest of his article on the best fall campaigns for men. Thank you, Kristopher.
Thank you, Tijana.
Well, viewers, that's it for this episode of Fashion Reverie Talks.
We would like to thank Shane Ramnarine and our Fashion Reverie Associate Editor, Kristopher Fraser.
For information on these and other stories, go to fashionreverie.com. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.